Hey yo, what's up? So this is like the first day I started creating these videos again after some time. So here are a few things I learned today. So what is STTP? So STTP is like a set of rules followed by computers over the internet to transfer the informations. ST standing for like hypertext. It is basically like content that contains the content. And transfer protocol or TP in STTP, it basically stands for the procedure or like a way or system of doing things. Or transport protocol means like a procedure to transfer the data over the internet. So STTP is simply, you can say it as like a set of rules followed by computers to transfer the information over the internet. And the second is, how does the STTP work? So STTP works so your information, like web is like a big place, so your information is not being transferred directly to the servers like a main company server. So there are different intermediaries, right? So there are like proxies, there are like tunnels and gateways. So proxy is basically, the first thing is your router. So router, then there are like tunnels. There could be lots of these tunnels like from your internet service providers. And then there's a gateway is like basically the router of the company you're trying to access. Then behind that is the server of the company or the data center. This is basically like hidden, like you cannot really access the data center, so it's basically hidden by the gateway by like a shared IP, so it's behind the shared IP. But there is like a possibility of accessing the data center through, like if there is like a vulnerability, then you can actually, it's possible to access the data centers, but there are like serious consequences. You might be like fined with like Computer Fraud Abuse Act and the state laws and different and more. So it's like legally not allowed to access behind the gateway, like to the company data centers. So when is HTTP used? So basically it is like a communication backbone of the internet. So whenever you're clicking the link, whenever you are searching out for the URL, every time it's being like, you can actually see it in the URL, that HTTP. So it's basically like a communication backbone. So there is basically like a cycle, like a request and like a response cycle in the internet, like in the web, that you request something you want to see or you want to access. Then there is like a server is responding with, okay, like success, here you go, here's what you want, or this is the reason you cannot get this, so here's a potential solution for it. So there's like, it's called HTTP request, that you send a request from your browser. It's basically like simply asking for something from over the internet, asking the server over the internet. So there are basically three parts in this HTTP request. Like there's a request line, there's a header, and there's a body. Request line is basically, it sets the stage for like everything that's coming after that. It's basically it includes the action you want to do. And the second is the header. This is like a more detailed version of what you want to do. This is usually in like a key value pair, like in JavaScript object. And the third is the body. This is like where you put more information that doesn't really fit in the header. And what is HTTP response? HTTP response is simply what a server sends back to a client, like your browser, like after it receives the request you sent. HTTP response is structured very similarly to the HTTP like request. And the only difference is that instead of a request line, there's like a status line, and that is followed by like a status code and also a reason phrase. So basically the most common one being I think it's like 404 not found, with a reason like 404 being the status code and not found being like a reason phrase. Then the header, almost the same functionality as the request, and the body contains the actual data you were trying to access. So your data or the information you're trying to access is actually contained in the body. And yeah, that's about it. Stay hard. Thanks.